Are you an athlete, content creator, or an athlete influencer and feel overwhelmed in the digital space? Do you feel that you need to curate a look, color schemes, and beautiful photos and the perfect videos for your content just to stand out? What if I told you that branding can be quite simple if you allow it to be? And hey, hi, hello, Angelisa here, your host for Braap's Throttle Talk podcast. And if you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, hey, what's up? I am so happy that you're here. If you can't tell, I have been quite sick, quite ill for a few weeks now. And my voice is trying to recover. And that is why I have this extremely low voice, and it might be cracking in and out, and I do apologize throughout this podcast, but we're going to make it work. This is just how it goes. Especially if you're doing voiceovers, the show must go on, right? So if you didn't know, I have a website, and over there I have an email subscription where I talk about topics like this one for content creators, how to brand yourself, some behind the scenes, some tips and tricks that I use on the daily. And I actually sent out this specific topic over on a newsletter a couple of weeks ago. So if you're one of those diehards that want to know the action before it's out there in the universe, then go sign up for the newsletter. I will have a link in the show notes, and you can sign up for them there. Totally free, just need your email. That's all. So thank you if you are one of those that subscribed. I only come out with a newsletter, I think, once a month, but I'm trying to get better at it. It's just, when inspiration strikes, that's kind of when I hop on it. Anyways, because I was creating this newsletter, I felt that I had to jump on here and talk about this because this is a topic that I am so passionate about. Well, all the things I'm very passionate about, but this particular branding topic that we're going to talk about, I'm very passionate about. Okay, so let's jump in. I want you to sit back and think of all the things that you do daily. I want you to think about all your passions, your core beliefs, your hobbies, your work, your life. And I just want you to sit and think about it all. Everything that you do is you. All the ways you live life is built by you. From personal habits, communications, the way you dress, the way you style yourself, the way you express yourself, how you move your body, how you ride your dirt bikes, how you ride your snowmobiles, and how you have the passion and you do the things outside of your sports. The brand isn't about color schemes or the perfect pictures and videos. Now, that's part of branding, but that's not what branding truly is. It's how you market yourself, the language and the vocabulary that you use, the way you express yourself. It all creates an identity to your brand. So we, as athlete influencers, are considered a personal brand, right? We are selling ourselves. We are selling us. We are showing the world what we do and why, which is the most important part of influence. And when we work with sponsors, we are selling their products and services in a unique way that expresses ourselves. However, you might agree with this. It is extremely difficult to self-promote. Now, am I right? Hands up. Let me know in the comments. Do you find it really hard to promote yourself online? It's not easy to show up on the digital space online and put ourselves out there. We develop a whole lot of limiting beliefs and self-doubt. Been there, done that. And for most of us, we have the desire to promote the products that we love, and we want to inspire other female riders, right? But because of our limiting beliefs and self-doubt, we decide it's best to create a fake persona. And what do I mean by that? We create a brand that is not truly us. Just a brand that we think sponsors and brand collaborators want. I see it all the time. I see social media handles on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok that are like at Angelisa Sleds or at Backcountry Angelisa or at Angelisa Rides Dirt Bikes. You get what I'm laying down, right? I hate to say it, but we are so much more than our sports. We live life beyond sports. So why do we feel we need to just be a sports athlete page? Is it because we are afraid of what family and friends might think? Because newsflash, this is a huge newsflash, social media is not meant for family and friends. And here is the big hit. If you submit a resume or fill out any type of application with potential sponsors or brand collaborators with your full name, chances are the brand or potential sponsors will open up Instagram, let's say, or any other social media platform and will research your name. That is on the proposal, right? That's on the application form. They always ask your full name. What's your full name? Angelisa Edwards, right? And then you fill out the form if you're doing something on the application online to be a sponsored athlete or an ambassador. We fill out the form, Angelisa Edwards. Always ask, on the form, it always asks your name, last name, right? And then later on, it asks you other questions. And then almost near the end, it asks for your Instagram handle or your TikTok handle or your YouTube handle. It's usually near the bottom, right? So when you submit those application forms online, the brands or potential sponsors always will look at your name, open up the apps to social media platforms, and they will begin their research. So they will start researching your name. Now, if they can't find you, then they either skip your application because they don't have time and they probably got thousands of applications, or they take the extra time and to read the full application. So my question to you is, why make things so complicated when it can be so easy? And my advice and my tip on how you can make your personal brand super easy and simple is by using your name, your full name. Gosh, I can go on and on about this topic, but your name is unique to you. And if you don't feel like anyone's going to remember you or your name, or maybe that you feel that your name isn't that exciting, then it's up to you to make your name exciting. And it's up to you to start showing up, go online and film yourself, go live, whatever you need to do, and introduce yourself by saying your name. Educate your audience, your name. I have such a tricky name, Angelisa. That's 4 syllables in my name. A lot of people call me Ange. Yes, I go by Ange, but I always introduce myself as Angelisa. Okay? That's my name, Angelisa. And yes, you can call me Ange. That's totally fine. I do encourage it, but I will guarantee you will remember my name because I always introduce myself on all my socials. Hey, hi, I'm Angelisa. See, and I always butcher my name too. Doesn't come out of my mouth that smoothly every single time, but I am consistent with it. The more you say your name, the more people are going to remember you within the saturated market, within, the saturated, crowded space. So educate your audience how to say your name. And if it's a name that is very familiar or similar to other people, then how can you make it exciting? Use your middle name, I'm going to use my name again. I know not a lot of people have my name, but if there are other Angelisas out there, which there are, And let's say they have the same last name, Edwards. There's a lot of people out there with the last name Edwards. So how can I be different? Well, then I would probably use my middle name. Hey, I'm Angelisa Marie Edwards. Chances are not everyone's going to have that, but again, maybe. But you need to start educating your audience on how to say your name and start putting your name to your face. Okay, it's so important. Your name is unique to you. Again, I can go off and on about it. Don't be the athlete influencer who hides behind a social media handle. Unless your goal is to expand into a business and hire staff, which then becomes a whole other type of business brand. And we can talk about that another day if you wish, but the last thing you want is people to start referring you as their social media handle outside of the platform, outside of the digital space, rather than your full name. I hear it all the time. People are trying to say like, oh, I saw at Backcountry Angelisa do her wheelie and she fell so many times and it was inspirational and it makes me feel that, you know, I can do that. But then I'm like, well, who's Backcountry Angelisa? Like, I'd rather hear the full name than like a name that's very similar to other people on social media. Does that make sense? You know, we live in a world that, yes, social media is Instagram handles, it's YouTube handles. That's how, you know, we're all searched on all platforms. But it's so important that we use our name because our unique name is what is us. It's what we're branded. Look, I've been there. I've hidden behind a brand that I felt I couldn't be my true authentic self. And then I was trying to show up in all the spaces and I got burnt out. And so this is kind of why I believe it's so important to start to show up as you, as who you are, because then it becomes so easy to create content. Once we can embrace our name, we push those limiting beliefs aside and start to show up as our true, authentic selves. Then we become less overwhelmed about social media, feel less burnt out of having to show up in all the spaces and places for the different types of audiences, and we start to create content that aligns with us and our true selves. And one last tip and advice that I want to give is not all brands want to see riding shots all the time. They want to see what you do outside of your sports and how you are impacting and influencing other people to live their best lives. Sorry, that was really loud in my ears, but yeah, like mind blown. Brands and sponsors don't always want to see the riding shots. They don't always want to see the epic sends, the successes. They want to see what you do on the daily, what makes you you, and what makes you so passionate about your sports, and what you do outside of your sports, what makes you as a whole. That's what they want to see. You're not really a brand if you're just showing one thing. No one knows and no one can relate to you. And I think that's the most important thing is we want to curate an audience that can relate to us because there's a little piece of you that wishes you had that when you started out with your sports. Again, I can go on and on about this topic. It's such a big one for me, and I wish I knew about these tips when I first started out in my athlete journey and how I could start promoting myself as a very shy individual and wanting to become an athlete influencer. So this is where I'm going to open it up to you is if you would like to work with me and build out a strong brand for yourself and how you can start to show up digitally and be the athlete influencer that you want to be, then I have good news. I have 2 spots available this month. And this is November of 2023. I have a couple of packages that I custom create to your goals. Okay, so this is not a one-shop stop. This is where we get to sit down. I get to learn a little bit more of your story, your goals, what you want, what your outcomes are going to be. and we custom create a package that you can work on yourself, and how you can start promoting yourself and showing up in the space that is quite crowded. I really show you how you can start to stand out. And it does take a lot of diving deep, digging in some of those limiting beliefs, but I cannot tell you how much it is worth it. And then you can start to tackle those goals with the right strategies in mind. I have a couple packages. I have a 4-week program called Jumps and Drops. Get it? And then I also have a 12-week program called The Season. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love that because every 3 months there's always a different season. So hit me up if you feel you want to dive deeper into branding yourself and how you can work with brands, make some money on the side, and how to develop some compelling photos and videos and captions, and how to create storytelling and storyboards. I will leave my website in the show notes, so you can send me a message through there, or you can head over to Instagram and send me a DM. You can send me a direct message over there. And again, the links will be in the show notes. I have a testimonial from a good friend, Jessie Pois, and here is what she said. Angelisa really opened up my eyes not only on who I am, but who I could become. With a degree in sports marketing and management, I sure have a little advantage over others as far as selling myself goes, but the hardest part really was to acknowledge that I do have what it takes to become a professional athlete in today's society. I just needed someone like Angelisa to convince me of it first. But once I believed in it, it actually became a reality. I have finally reached a professional level in 2020 to now the present seasons with paying sponsorships, and I am very proud of that. Thank you, Angelisa, for always believing in me and giving me the opportunity to really shine as an athlete influencer. Aw, I love that. I have interviews with Jessie, and I actually have an interview of her most recent one. You can check that out next. There's some very good value in there. Jessie shares all the things that she's been up to. And lastly, if you have some limiting beliefs that are stopping you from posting on social media, or you just feel you can't be your true authentic self, then check out my YouTube video here. It's called Is It Worth It? I posted 1 video per week for 1 year straight on YouTube. Okay. Even though it talks about YouTube, I talk about all the struggles that I had to go through, some of the limiting beliefs that were showing up for me, and how I had to work past that. So give that a watch or a listen, and there's some tips in there on how you can push forward through those limiting beliefs, because oh my gosh, it is so hard to sometimes show up when limiting beliefs kind of come up out of nowhere. And what we need to do is learn how to push them to the side and to do the damn thing, right? So thank you so much for listening in or watching over here on YouTube, on the podcast. And I'm so excited to see you shine and start coming through on all of your platforms. You have what it takes, and I am rooting for you. Keep killing it safely, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Okay, bye.